5.
Okay, I guess we're live. I thought we had to clear storage, but welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. You are watching Sibling Showdown. Of course, we do a weekly BBM5 live draft, and this is very special today because not only are we doing a BBM5 draft, but we are using our new partner Best Ball Overlay in just 1 minute. That's right. Welcome back to Sibling Showdown. I'm Meg, and I'm, of course, joined every Wednesday by my brother, my sibling, Steve. You can follow him at SteveOSpeak. And again, today we are drafting a BBM5 live. We'll talk about, of course, all the movement we're seeing in the best ball streets. But most importantly, today, we are going to talk about our partner, Best Ball Overlay. But before I do, Steve, how are you doing? And I know you're like keeping up with like a gazillion slow drafts.
Yeah, doing well. Just mainly doing slow drafts right now and enjoying that. Looking forward to the next contest underdog releases. So hopefully they will get something the next day or so. So yeah.
Yeah, well, tell me, I'm trying to multitask a couple things, and hopefully we're not having any issues because it said that there was not space, but it's live, so I'm not sure why it said that. Tell me if you have any different strategies. We have a time box tournament strategy show. Check that out on the Fanspeak Network. We talked about a lot of these things, but Steve, as you're doing these, well, I guess not as many chihuahuas or any of those. I guess right now you're finishing up the pit bulls. So as you're finishing up these slow pit bulls, what are you really utilizing? Highlight some of the things we talked about on our show.
Yeah, so just trying to do different things, how I'm building them differently, doing some different strategies that I don't do as much in, say, the BBMs, like maybe some hyper fragile or targeting some players that I don't target as much, just because I feel I would rather have them at an ADP that I feel confident that they're going to be at, or that I know that everyone's getting them at, versus say somebody who, right now they're going one place and 4 weeks from now, they could either go 30 spots higher or 30 spots lower based on camp reports. And there I feel like, maybe you're ahead of the curve, maybe you're behind the curve. So some of those guys I'm just not as high on, especially if I'm not as high on them. I don't like risking them in a contest like the BBM. But in a tournament like this, maybe I'll be a bit more okay risking them because I know everyone got them in the same spot.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Let me say hi to a couple of guys in chat. Of course, these are all friends of Best Ball to us. Of course, we got Tyler. We've got Felix. Felix, wait till you see my exposures here in a minute on Najee Harris. You will appreciate it, I think. Not as high as yours, which I respect, but you will appreciate it. So, yeah, basically, Steve, we have partnered with Best Ball Overlay. If you watch Pat in the Fantasy Dog Pound, it's by Pat and his team, and it's bestballoverlay.com. And if you use code, let me put it on the screen. If you use code Fanspeak, you'll get 33% off. That is $10 off each month. So instead of $30 a month, it's just $20 a month. And I absolutely love it. It's giving you obviously the overlay to see your exposures, to see the correlations for your stacks and your bringbacks in the playoffs. But then you have some other features that we're going to show as well. So Steve has signed up, and I highly recommend you guys sign up. So again, I'm going to give you a quick peek here in a minute as to some of my exposures and some of the offerings that Best Ball Overlay has. You'll see it in the live draft when we do it in just a few minutes. And then we will have a strategy session up on 20 minutes, just going over all our favorite features of Best Ball Overlay up tonight. And then I have Pat on Friends of Best Ball at 8:30 p.m. this Friday. So we'll obviously walk through it. Hopefully he can give me a hard time on some of my exposures. But so that should be fun. But what I'm going to do now, Steve, is I'm going to pull over Best Ball Overlay. And this is when you sign up, this is what you'll see. And basically the overlay is download the extension. That's letting you get all the access to see all the correlations and to see your team level correlations, your playoff correlations. It's got great things that you'll see that I'll point out once we get into a live draft where you can actually see like dome games, totals for the playoffs. I mean, it's great. And of course, then it's showing your stack potential, bringbacks, all those good things. So that's that for the overlay portion of downloading the extension and then uploading your recent CSV file to then show your exposure. Then in the rankings, you can edit your own rankings, which is obviously a great feature that makes it kind of easier, and it'll show like the differential that you're off the, you know, from the ADP, and it's really cool as well. But one of my favorite features is actually the teams, and I'm going to pull that over here in a minute first and take a peek behind the curtain before we get into a live draft, because the teams allows you to see the combinations, and that's the thing that I did not do well with last year. And that's the thing I want to do much better this year, is watching my combinations, especially at those turns, right? You know, your CMC and Lamb teams, your Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Gibbs teams, you know, at the ends of drafts, sometimes you feel like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It allows you to figure out, you know, how you can maybe mix up the exposures with those guys and starting those drafts, you know, how you're anchoring your draft on those especially. And then it's great for stacks too. Obviously, you and I are super high on Dak, and I'm going to pull that up in a minute. So I want to look at like my Dak stacks, my Dak and CeeDee Lamb, Dak and Jake Ferguson, you know, see what I've got going there, and then be able to see, oh, I've been drafting a little too much of this guy or that guy with him, so I need to pump the brakes. Oh, I like this, love this guy, and he goes in an area where I can get him with a Dak CeeDee Lamb stack, and I haven't gotten him yet, or only have one share or something along those lines. This is just making you self-aware about that, you know, as you upload your CSV file. So let me pull that over here. And then we can, let me see, because I did pull up my teams, and that'll be fun because I laughed myself at some of my exposures. Okay, so this was my, this was what I uploaded. And as you can see, let me blow it up a little bit. Can you see that? Okay, yeah. As you can see, I have 74 teams so far. Now, no number shaming. I'm a quality over quantity girl. Always have been and need to be in best ball. My goal is 300 total drafts. This is just the kind of traditional drafts, BBM, all the traditional, you know, anything from the Dalmatian down to the Chihuahua, basically the traditional drafts. This does not include like weekly winners, obviously, or eliminator or sprint or any of those. It doesn't include Superflex. It doesn't include the big board. This is just kind of my traditional drafts since basically BBM started. I've said before now, I have about 8 active, probably with a few stream drafts and drafts I'll be ripping this week. I'll be headed around, you know, 85 to 90 by the end of this week. I'm actually at a good pace because my goal this year is 300 and 200 of the traditional and like 100 of the non-traditional, I guess you'd say. Weekly winners, eliminator, you know, Superflex, that kind of stuff. So my goal is 200. By the end of the week, I'll probably be at 85, 90, somewhere around there, give or take. And as you can see, people, I put my money where my mouth is. I'm a big 3 quarterback girl. As you can see, it'll tell you the type of build and the like what it is. Is it a hero RB? Is it double anchor RB? Is it an elite QB? Isn't it, you know, and as you can see, I see a lot of 3 quarterback builds, pretty much all of them. It's either usually 3-5-7-3, 3-5-8-2, 3-6-7-2. Really depends on my tight end. I messed around with some 3-6-6-3. So you can, you know, kind of get the concepts of that. And then you see who it's anchored by. You can see your CLV. Really cool stuff. But my favorite part, kind of was I was alluded to earlier, is when you really click over and look at exposures. And hello, we talk about, I'm also putting my money where my mouth is. I talk about Ja'Tavion Sanders. That's right. He is where did it go? He is my most drafted player at this point through 74 completed drafts. Again, got a lot in the works right now. Followed by Tyler Conklin, Jameson Williams. I'll just read off my top. Roman Wilson, Najee Harris. Shout out to Felix. Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Ridley, Will Levis, Chicago, Kirk Cousins. That really speaks to, I've like hammered talking about my Titans obsession. And there you go. Calvin Ridley, Will Levis, Chigakonkwo, all 22 to 20, basically 25%. So you can obviously look by position then and all that. But what I was mentioning earlier, the best part is you just simply add players. So I want to see my Dak stacks. And let me see. So you then look at combinations. Dak is 100%. So this is who I have with Dak. Okay, maybe want to pump the brakes a little on Ja'Tavion Sanders, but he's like a last round pick. But you can see, and it shows the number of teams. I have 15 of my 74 teams are Dak teams. You can see that here, and then you can see the types of builds I have with DAC. So then let me add the stack portion. So I want to add CD Lamb. So that now I'm looking at DAC CD Lamb combinations, DAC CD Lamb 100%. This is who I'm most combining with DAC CD Lamb. So, I don't worry about it as much for late round guys. I mean, obviously I do like some late round tight ends when I'm not getting Jake Ferguson, who I have in DAC CD Lamb stacks at 28%. And again, so DAC CD Lamb through 74 completed drafts, I have 7 of 74. Pretty good, since that is one of my favorite stacks. But when I'm not doing Jake Ferguson, some late round tight ends. It's not shocking that, Tyler Conklin, Jatavian Sanders are at 71%, but, it's more the early guys that I want to really consider. And it's not that I have that many super early guys. I got Nico Collins at 28%. Kyron Williams at 42. That might be one where I'd be like, oh, maybe I pumped the brakes a little there, So these are the kind of things that it just makes you very self-aware. You can always look at, consider then the bringbacks to it too. Like if you scroll down, I do have Devonta Smith 28% of the time in my DAC CD stacks. I like that a lot. So this is the kind of, this is the tool, part of the tool that I actually love the most, probably. So any thoughts about this, Steve, before we get into the draft? And then you'll see the extension part of it, which really allows you to make the live decision.
No, I mean, between this part of it and then the extension part, that's what it really is so interesting, because like you said, we can just look at regular player exposures on Underdog, but the combinations, and then it brings up your teams, which is actually one of my favorite things, because DAC, and it's like, here are my DAC teams. You type in Christian McCaffrey, here are my Christian McCaffrey teams, etc.
Actually, I want to look at Christian McCaffrey while you're talking about that. Yeah.
And so that's what's nice, because I can look on Underdog and be like, oh, I have X% of this player, but then to look at the teams, not only look at the exposures, but look at the teams and be like, oh, well, it's this.
Maybe I want to stop drafting Tyler Lockett with Christian McCaffrey.
Just that type of just that type of thing, and just to look at the team in general, because you get to see, is it every time, is it a 3-5?
You can pull it down and get the whole picture of the team. So obviously 3-5-8-2, I did Mark Andrews and waited and took Jatavian Sanders, and now this is obviously I sorted by Christian McCaffrey. But Christian McCaffrey is another big one at the top of the draft. Sometimes you get hooked into doing the same thing. Mike Evans being a big one for me. And then I stacked it with Baker, which is great. But, I want to make sure I'm mixing that up. So far, I have 6 through 74 completed. I did get lucky in the Pitbull and have 3 of my 10 Pitbull are Christian McCaffrey teams. So I'm excited about that. And I'm trying to mix up, and this will help me be more conscious of that. So we're doing a whole strategy show, just 20 minutes, like looking at this further. Pat's coming on, Friends of Best Ball, Friday, 8:30. We'll obviously look at it even further. And then you will see all of the Fanspeak Live Underdog live drafts implemented with BBO implemented and using it actively. So be sure to check that out. And now I think it's time to get into a draft, so then we can see it all in action as in a live draft. So let me pull over Underdog now. Okay. If you want to join us in a BBM, I'm going to go ahead and join in 3, 2, 1. Hopefully don't have any issues. We are loading. We're waiting for 11. So if you are watching and want to jump in, be sure to jump in with us. This gives me time to say hi to our guests again. We got our guy, Frank, who I know watches Pat's content, and I'm sure he loves Best Ball Overlay as well. Good to see you, Frank. Hopefully you can join us draft. Felix, we are very similar. I'm guessing about some of my exposures. I don't have quite as much Najee as you, though. Tyler says, love that sponsor combo. Great site and overlay. So yeah, absolutely agree. I'm so pumped to finally start using this in obviously all our live drafts, but absolutely using it on my whole entire portfolio. And then of course we got our guy, Andrew. So you'll see him and Justin drafting tomorrow night with this, and every Thursday at 9:30. Check them out. Check out Andrew was on with Spread in the DraftKings show yesterday. He'll be in the Underdog Streets with Justin tomorrow at 9:30. And then of course I have Pat on Friday at 8:30. So that's the kind of the lineup this week. Wait, what contest dropped today?
I don't know. I've been busy, so I'm looking right now.
Steve was finishing an article. I was finishing all sorts of different deadlines and work before this. And then I was analyzing my exposures, to be quite honest, right before this show. So I didn't see it. It sounds like a winner take all.
Yeah, they did that last year. I didn't get in it last year. So let me see.
Yeah, check it out.
Hound Dog 2, interesting.
Oh, okay.
So see that. I see the Pug 2, interesting. Fast drafts only for that. Golden 3.
Oh, wow.
That's the winner. That's the winner take all. The Golden 3.
Well, we're still waiting for 5 people. I'm guessing it's pretty slow in the BBM streets because because they dropped a Hound Dog, a Pug, and a Golden.
Yeah.
So it's just the Golden winner take all, Steve? I haven't.
Yeah, the Golden 3 is $10 winner take all. So $25K to first.
I believe Tyler was in the finals for that last year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not too bad. There's only like last year's winner take all. I think it had way more entries. I think the top prize was like maybe 50K, 75K, something like that. There's only 2,700 entries, so that's actually not as bad as I thought. The Pug 2, it's only fast drafts, but it's 3 max entry, $12 per, like the first Pug.
Definitely doing that tonight.
And then Hound Dog 2, $6 entry, 5 max entry. Looks like you can do fast or slow. So we got, this is a funny story, as we're waiting for now up to 5 people. Again, it's a longer wait because because obviously Underdog, and I've heard other streamers talk about that. The wait is a little longer as people were finishing up their Chihuahuas and Pit Bulls and all that. Well, now they dropped 4 contests today, so the BBM streets are going to be a bit slow. So if you want to join us, definitely join us. We're just waiting on 4 now. That's hysterical. But funny story is we try to get our parents to draft, and our mom just sprinkles in a little, but we've gotten our dad into it. He's going to be getting best ball overlay because he always worries about his combination. So I'm going to help him set up best ball overlay. Yeah, and it is easy to set up. I just did it really quickly today. But yeah, it's funny. He cannot do a fast draft. So he definitely probably won't be doing the Pug, Steve, but we could probably talk him into a few Hound Dogs, right? Yeah, those Hound Dogs
they have slows.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. If you see Willie Pops in the streets, that's Steve and I's dad. He's badgeless, but he's fierce. He's he tries to listen to us, but not all the time, because sometimes I look at what he does and I'm like, what did we do there?
Yeah, went off the rails.
Oh my. So yeah, look for Willie Pops in the streets, a badgeless Willie Pops. And of course, I don't know if I'm actually not your Steve-O Speak in that I'm actually Shalp. I should have more of a Fanspeak brand, but I don't think you can change your handle once you start it, can you? I
don't think so. No.
Okay, we are live. And is it too big, or you can see it okay? As you can see, we are pick 6. I'm going to go look at the board in a minute, but what I want to show first is the extension that I did plug in week 15, 16, 17. So it will show the matchups that Christian McCaffrey plays the Rams, the Dolphins, the Lions. And then if you hover it over it, you can see the totals for those games. It'll show if there's a dome game. And then, of course, you can see my exposures. Right now, I'm at 8% Christian McCaffrey, 11% CeeDee Lamb, 7% Tyreek Hill, and 4% Jamar Chase here of the top players. So, that's the overlay portion. And then you'll be able to see it once we start drafting. It then takes your first quarterback, second quarterback, third quarterback, makes it green, yellow, red. And I'm doing 3. And then it'll show if it's in parentheses, it's a stack. If it has an underline, it's showing a potential bring back. So let me pull this over, see who we got in the streets. Draft is starting now. Definitely have King of Kings right next to us at the 7 spot. So we've got Frank right next to us is the 7 spot, and Nolfan at the 11 spot. I know he's one of our guys. So I'm glad we got a couple of y'all in with us here. So, all right, Frank, we'll try not to snipe each other here. Okay, Felix tried it. He didn't get in this one. That's too bad, because we would have been fighting for Najee. Okay, so at the 6 spot, Steve, I've been obsessed with Bijan. I can't remember if we did this on our last draft. Actually, let's go ahead and look at what my Bijan exposure is. I think I have it blown up too much. Yeah. So I'm at 12% Bijan. That's not out of control. But lately, when I get the opportunity to get Bijan at 6, I do. But what do you want to do here at the 6th spot? So at the top of the board is these are your old rankings. We were on the clock. It's Bijan, Amon-Ra, Brees. You're fine with Bijan?
Yeah, I think I like Amon-Ra also, but I'd go Bijan.
Okay.
One reason I don't mind Amon-Ra, and I think I mentioned this on the stream a couple times ago, is it's actually one of the easiest to get. To me, one of the most interesting Week 17 stacks, of course, is that Lions 49ers, and you can almost for sure get a Debo or Ayuk coming back to you. So you can just use the top 2 picks, get that stack going, target Purdy and or Goff in the mid rounds. And you just have a really good start, kind of a really good feel. So that I like that a lot, but yeah, I just love Bijan where he's at and just the opportunity. I know Algier has been good, but it's a new staff, and you look at what Bijan does on a per touch basis. If he just gets the touchdowns, he had like no red zone work last year. My God, give him the red zone work, and
I just feel like they have a good schedule, a good playoff schedule now with a top tier quarterback, and ton of obviously indoor games, and if he like you said, if he gets that red zone role, it's like wheels up, and I just feel like it could be a Christian McCaffrey situation, and wouldn't shock me if he ended up RB1.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in that upside, in that mix.
So you and I are talking how we do start a lot of hero RB. We even do some double hero, but that's more when some of this value falls, like the Henrys, the Jacobs, the Pachecos, that kind of stuff. So looking at receivers here, though, if you did, how much? Oh, damn, I shut the thing down. I wanted to see my combos. I wanted to see how much Bijan Saquon I have. Because if Saquon fell back, that's an option. Then, of course, you have, these receivers that I like the most. So we're up in 1. Frank's on the board. I queued Saquon, Mike Evans, Debo Samuel, Ayuk, and Devonta Smith. I'll let you. Frank took Debo. We're on the clock. What do you want to do?
Let's go Mike Evans.
Oh, clearly I need a little more, actually. I thought I had more Mike Evans. See, this makes you very self-aware.
Yeah. No, and I just, I love Evans. I think he's just still underrated. He just goes out and does it time and time again. I mean, he's like so good for 8+ touchdowns every year, 1,000 yards. I just can't really criticize what he brings to the table.
I really thought I had more. So that's why, because I do like pop over on Underdog and look at my exposures, every week or two, but like, I don't know. I definitely thought I had more. And this, when it's like happening live in front of you, it's nice to be self-aware about that, and quite honestly, with Saquon falling, I have been taking him a lot.
Yeah. So. I mean, look, geez, Saquon has fallen. Not that I expect him to come back to us at 30, but geez.
If he comes back to us at 30, we're definitely taking him. But
sorry, Frank, we're getting him.
We got Albert in chat. Hello. Good to see you, Albert. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about using Best Ball Overlay. They're our official exclusive tools partner for Fanspeak and our Fanspeak team. And you'll see the overlay, and we demoed it a little earlier, and check out our strategy show where we're going to be demoing it further, and our show with Pat this Friday, demoing it more, because I'm super excited to use this effectively to help my portfolio. So the guy at the 3 spot started Lamb, Neighbors, and then got Barkley. Wow, that was lucky to get Lamb at 3 and then Barkley all the way back to 27.
Yeah,
so that's pretty impressive.
Don't get that too often.
So you can tell that I'm pretty high on Derrick Henry. I just think he's way too low where he's given. So he just went. Obviously, I have 9% Kyron. We're on the board. I probably want to go receiver. by ADP, it's DJ Moore, Diggs, Pittman, Dell. Oh, I do not like this area. Do you like?
I'd go Moore or Kyron, DJ Moore, Kyron.
Okay, I've got 9%, 5%. What do you? 7 seconds. I'll let you make
go
the call.
go Moore. Go
Okay.
Moore. I think, I know Moore. It is a rookie quarterback. It is a potentially crowded room, but even if he ends up as wide receiver 2, he can still kind of pay off third round value. I think this is going to be one of the better young offenses in the league. Could make a jump. Could be very similar to what we saw in Houston last year, with Stroud and company. So, yeah, I mean, this DJ Moore was very good with Justin Fields and the terrible offense that the Bears had last year. Even with more competition, it just means it's going to be harder for defenses to try and take him out. I mean, every defense knew that he was getting the ball and they couldn't stop him last year. Yeah. Now imagine having to deal with guys like Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and a quarterback who can actually complete accurate passes with consistency. So,
Steve, you're good at math. I just pulled up the if we get a longer break, I'll show it. But I just pulled up the teams feature of Best Ball Overlay and in a different window, and maybe I'll pull it over, and I just put Bijan. I have 9 Bijan teams through 74 drafts, and a lot are double anchor. So I'm glad we mixed it up to do a different type of build. Some are just hero. But I only have, so of 9 teams, help me with math, I do have 11% Saquon. What does that?
That's 1.
Okay. I just knock it out of the park with my math skills. It's funny, in the best ball space, everybody's like, math and data. Not this girl. Nope. Steve's the math guy in the team. So, okay. So we are. Go ahead. Sorry.
I said, who are we looking at here?
Okay. Yeah. Let me pull it over. So obviously you've got the quarterbacks. If you wanted to do an elite quarterback, and then you have Kelsey, Etienne, Pacheco, if you wanted to do something along those lines. Actually, Jacobs has been falling like way further than that. And then receivers, we have McLaurin, Hollywood, Keenan Allen. You have Keenan Allen ranked much lower, but and then you have like the tight ends, basically. I know
you can buy as Bijan, but I would say Etienne. I think Etienne is the value here.
You know what? I didn't. Yeah. And I don't only have 4% ETN. Do they don't have the same bye week, do they?
They do the same bye, but I just think you avoid that from here on out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we started 0 or 2-2. So 2 running backs, 2. So that's basically a double hero or double anchor RB. We'll avoid, this will be a 5 running back build, and our other 3 will not be week 12. And then Mike Evans, DJ Moore. So obviously those are later quarterbacks if we wanted to target.
The other advantage
back up in 7, I'm just going to leave this up. Do you want to look at a hero quarterback? I'm just looking at my quarterbacks I have with Bijan, and I really haven't. I have 1 share of Hurts. Don't really. It's more of the mid-tier quarterbacks. Yeah. So any thoughts on? Hurts is still there currently. Or we could, if like a Mahomes fell, I don't think obviously you'd get like a Hollywood, but you could get somebody later. I guess that's Rice, who's we're not high on, but, so thoughts on that with 5 picks. Did you want to do some kind of hero build? And I'm just trying to utilize the tool live. Yeah. I've got more mid to late round quarterbacks. I do have 1 Stroud and 1 Hurts as far as like earlier.
If Mahomes falls, it's clear value. Richardson would be a guy you could then target like a Downs later.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing that to have like a hero or, I know we're taking 3 detours early, but then we just would be aggressive with receivers, so I don't mind that. It's interesting that both. Actually, I'm kind of interested in
what are the receivers right now? I know Hollywood's there, but
I found it interesting that Hollywood and Mahomes.
We wouldn't take Keenan Allen, obviously.
We already have DJ Moore. Do you want to build out a double Chicago stack?
I wouldn't. I
haven't been really into the building the double stacks early. It's one thing if you get one one as far as receivers. Like it's fine if it's like a tight end receiver, like a Debo Kittle. I do that a ton or a lot. I have to check that in my combinations. But as far as like the receivers that like Houston, like Chicago, that you'd have like Miami, that kind of stuff, I don't do that often where I build out.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, just because it's hard to see like in the playoff weeks both going off, and it just feels thinner. Okay, so Jacobs went, some of the elite tight ends went. Mahomes fell.
I think we could do Mahomes. I mean, Xavier Worthy's still got to be out there. I know Hollywood's there, but I'm sure he's going to be
he'll likely not come back. Let's see. So we'll queue up Worthy. I'll bring over the board so that you can see. So yeah, again, using Best Ball Overlay Live, I was able to tell that through 74 drafts and completed drafts and 9 Bijan teams, I had mostly mid to late round quarterback builds. I only had 1 Hurts and 1 Stroud. And that kind of made me lean, okay, maybe we do like a Mahomes or Anthony Richardson. And that's what I love about this. He says, Meg, is this the first time you're using Overlay? Yes, this is my first time in a live draft. I was obviously, downloaded, uploaded everything today and was like analyzing, exposures and combinations, but using it live in a draft. Yes. So this is awesome and fun, and I absolutely love it. And I'm sure Frank loves it too. I'm guessing Frank has it. And again, if you would like it, go to bestballoverlay.com, use code FANSPEAK for 33% off or $10 off a month. Oh, you will like, I do not doubt it, Frank. I'm super excited. This was the kind of one of my biggest holes last year is my combinations. And so I think this will help me a lot this year. And again, I talk about, kind of quality over quantity, just given my life bankroll. I have to be a little bit careful on how many total drafts I do. So again, I'm doing 200 of the total, like traditional drafts, BBM, all these fun hound dog, pugs, just finishing up a bunch of pit bulls, all those. I'm going to do 200 of those and then like 100 of the other, like, super flex and marathon and sprint and weekly winners and all the good stuff. So that's my goal. But still, even with 200 drafts, that's a lot to try to really make sure that you're being careful with your combos. And so, but especially if you do more quantity than that, my God, I don't know how you would really keep track of your combos.
Worthy just went.
Oh shoot. Okay. So we're up in
under receiver.
Okay. So we are up in 2.
Live McConkey.
All right. Yeah, I know you can tell by Steve's ranks. He has him ranked 58. These are Steve's old ranks. I have not updated it, by the way. Whoopsies. But we will grab McConkey here if he falls. If Frank doesn't take him. If not, what did you want to do?
And DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay. Fine with either. As you can see, I like both McConkey and Hopkins. 13% McConkey, 17% Hopkins. So Frank went Kenneth Walker. We're going to go McConkey. So we start Mahomes, Bijan, Etienne, Evans, Moore, McConkey. We'll be up in 10. So it's really just like Rice is who's someone I don't usually take, but I guess I would be more willing in a build like this.
Somebody take him?
I didn't think so when I queued it up. Maybe you did.
I think somebody took him.
Yeah, he just went.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the board, and then we can look at so real quick, Frank started Amon-Ra, Debo, got that week 17 correlation, Kyron, McBride, Calvin Ridley, Kenneth Walker. I like that start a lot. Our guy Noah fan did Garrett Wilson, Vontae Adams, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, James Cook, George Kittle. I like that a lot too, doing 0 RB, but then switching over, getting that, some kind of anchor RB and a nice, elite tight end in Kittle. So coming around the 6-7 turn now, we'll be up at 78 and then again 91. So being that we already got an elite quarterback, we don't need to worry about that for surely a while. So yeah, I believe we're at 1, 2, 3. What do you think we should be looking at here at 78, Steve?
Potentially another running back or a receiver. I think, you know, I think it depends. I'm not sure what the value is right now.
Frank asked if you're getting it. You already have it, right, Steve?
Yeah, no, I
Yep.
already got it. Yep.
Yep. And I believe most of the Fanspeak team has it. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I've not done any fast drafts with it yet, but I've been playing around with it.
Well, and it helps obviously with the fast. I mean, it's going to help me on both slow and fast, but it certainly helps on fast. And if you want to start using these 15-second clocks, we're on the clock now. Wow, Stroud really fell. Okay, so
I do Dave Montgomery or Najee.
Okay, or do you like any of these receivers?
I think they're all roughly the same. We're likely going to get one of them coming back.
Okay. As you can see, if Felix is watching, 25% Najee, 13% David Montgomery. Neither's week 12. What do you want to do?
I'd do Najee. He correlates with Mahomes week 17.
Great point. Thank you. And if you see the underline, that's what that means. Is the underline means that he correlates with Mahomes. So Casey's underline, that means he correlates. Obviously, we don't have a stack yet to show you, but if it is in parentheses, it's a stack. If it's underlined, it's a bring back. So, okay, let me bring over the board. Okay, well, now we're really going to have to, because we only have 3 receivers through 7, so we really need to hammer receivers here. But it's been drying up quick. I feel like, how is it possible that the underdog's gotten even more wide receiver thirsty?
Well, but here's the thing: is this tier receiver, they're all roughly the same.
Similar.
Like,
so
the difference between,
flat. Yeah.
Honestly, like once DeAndre Hopkins goes, like the difference between Deontay Johnson and Rashid Shaheed or Mike Waite, what's the difference? Like,
yeah. Well, I think we definitely have to go receiver here to kind of catch up, because then we'll have 5 through 9, unless we have like an amazing value fall to us, like a tight end or something.
Yeah, but we're set up well. We can get later quarterbacks, either Caleb, obviously Baker, Herbert. Like we're just set up, for plenty of options at later quarterbacks. So we're in a good spot there. Obviously, we correlate with our running backs, Lawrence or Cousins.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, so Frank got Kyler with McBride. Very nice. Noel Fan got Jameson Williams, further building out, or he too, Frank built out an early week 17 San Francisco, Detroit, and then Noel Fan builds out a George Kittle, Jameson Williams. So
no, I mean, I said it at the top, the Monra, that's one of my favorite ways to go, and that's what Frank did, right?
Yep, exactly. Oh, I just looked, Steve. My combo with Bijan, I do have Najee half the time, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right, Felix? Let me see. Look at receivers who I have, because I do have 9 out of 74 completed Bijan teams. So I'm looking in this range who I have. Not a ton. It's more the early guys. I do have 22% Mike Williams if he's still there. That's just a couple drafts, but yeah, I don't have anything. My high exposure to my Bijan. Oh, we're about to be back up. We're earlier guys. So, okay, looking over at receivers, it's by your rank: Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, Shakir, Shaheed, Wicks.
I'd go Lockett.
I actually don't have him yet on a Bijan team. Okay, let me bring this over, and then we'll be back up at 102 again, unless there's like an extreme value. We'll probably hit receiver again so that we have 5 through 9 to kind of keep up with the pacing of the room. And because we took Mahomes, I mean, this could be a naked Mahomes team, but I mean, he's one that's, spreads it around. I think, especially this year with having the additions of Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy, I just don't know that someone's going to dominate the target share. Of course, Kelsey usually does, but like, I just feel with these 3 receivers, we don't know the suspension situation. I just feel like I don't know. I just think naked Mahomes is not awful. I'm not going to take somebody just to take somebody.
No. And sure, we want to correlate all that kind of stuff, but 2 years ago when Pat Crane won with it was because he had the quarterback. He didn't have Mike Evans' 40-point game. He had Chris Godwin's 18-point game. Like that's great and all, but there was a lot of 18-point games that week. he had the separator quarterback, and his
Well,
other
I think the
quarterback.
bigger point is the winner last year did not.
Yeah.
For CJ Stroud, totally
Yes.
unstacked, and he's way more of like. Well, I guess Mahomes is a pocket passer too, but I feel like he's scrambled even less than Mahomes.
And Tua, was stacked with a running back who barely catches the ball, and Raheem Mostert. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I left this up by ADP. It's
Shakir Shaheed.
Shakir or Shaheed. I'll let you decide. I have 8% Shakir, total 11% Shaheed. Don't have any.
Yeah, there's no
both
real.
Big 12, so
yeah.
Shaheed allows us to do Carr if we needed it, but I don't think that's a big separator.
Go Shakir. I think just the upside.
I have less exposure to him, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's bring well, actually, let me see where we're at here at the kind of. So we're at a 1-3-5, which we both like to really get 3 running backs and 5 receivers through 10. So we're pacing there. So 1-3-5, we're not quite through 10, we're through 9. And we'll be back up at 115. So Frank went ahead with Shaheed. I like that. And had gotten Ferguson before that. There was obviously a little, as there typically is, a little run on. Is Dak still on the board?
Yeah, Dak's still there.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised the guy took Lamb. He took Love, which is great, but he took Jaden Daniels. Instead of over.
Yeah, he took Christian Watson and Love, and then instead of taking Dak, he took. It's interesting. Okay, well, all I can say is if Dak falls to 115, we're taking him. Because let me use our handy dandy tool. I do not yet. I think I do actually in one of my Pitbull slows, but I don't have a Dak Bijan team. Okay, there goes Dak at the turn. Wow, falling to 108. That's insane value.
Yeah.
And the thing with Dak is, sure, and Frank may have taken him because he had Ferguson, but the thing with Dak is, you can backstack him with Brandon Cooks, running back, or Tolbert. So
yeah, absolutely.
So Dak goes, Purdy goes at 110. We'll be up at 115. So
we could take a second quarterback here, Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
or Lawrence.
I don't have much Caleb if you want to do that.
I don't necessarily think we have to. What are tight ends at? Just because we don't have a tight end.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Could do Njoku.
I don't have much Njoku at all.
Which I feel would be a good value. And then just what are receivers and running backs? Just see if there's any fallen value.
Yeah, Mike Williams and Wicks, and then nothing here.
Okay. So I'm fine either Caleb Williams or Njoku. You're low on either of them, so either one will be an upgrade.
Okay, I'll let you choose.
Let's go Caleb. Let's take. We spent up on the rookie receiver. Let's. So can you?
No, we got DJ Moore with him.
Yeah, that's what I meant. We spent up on the rookie's top receiver. So.
I thought you were talking about a Dunze. Sorry. Okay, got it.
Okay. And we already have Seattle, piece with Lockett.
Oh, that's a great point. So as you can see on the board here, it puts in parentheses for the stack, and then DJ Moore is now stacked in yellow as our second quarterback stack. Obviously, you don't have anybody with Mahomes yet, and then of course the bringbacks is underlined, so that's why Najee's underlined with Mahomes. So Njoku, Corum, Wicks just went. Mike Williams is following, which I see him fall a lot, so that's not a shock.
Yeah, that's not shocking.
We'll be back up at, let's check the board. So we went Caleb, Frank went Trey Benson, then Brandon Cooks went, so he didn't fall back to the Dak guy. No Fan got Brock Purdy with his stack of Jameson Williams and Kittle. I like that a lot. Then it's coming around the 10-11 turn, Romeo Doubs. And we'll be back up at 126. So it's weird, Steve. The middle tight ends I have a really low exposure to because I don't know. It's either I like getting that Kincaid through Pitts and Kittle range, or I kind of just pump the brakes and I like hammer the late round tight ends, which I love a lot of the late round tight ends. I know a lot of people don't this year. I actually wrote an article about, check it out. All articles are free on fanspeak.com. I wrote an article about 8 late round tight ends that I like when I do a 3 late round tight end build. And I like those. So I don't have a lot in the middle here. So talking about exposures, if you wanted to hit like it would be early for Freiermuth, but like a Dalton Schultz, I do have 9%. I'm actually with the Phil,
So one thing, Komet, not this pick, but on the bring back, on the coming back, we could target Komet.
Yeah, not here. Okay, but we are up here. So there, okay.
Which running back?
Yeah.
Look at running back real quick. I
like Ford
or Elliott.
Let me move this around. Do we have any bye week issues? None of these are 12,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 15% of both, so
yeah,
I'm gonna.
Ford.
I would like some more Ford.
Yeah.
So okay, we have a 2, 4, 5. So we kind of are building out a late round tight end unless we do get Komet here, which obviously stacks with our second quarterback with Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously, as you can see in the queue, when you're queuing guys that could be stacks, it'll show the highlighted, or excuse me, the parentheses for the stack. So yeah, love that. Well, I think we can wait. Honestly, if we want to just grab CEH for correlation late, I'd be fine with that. I think now we need to really focus on receiver and tight end. So I'm going to take Elliott out of there. See if we get Komet. If we don't get Komet in 9 picks, what do you want to do?
I'd just take the top receiver, Downs, Mooney.
Just going to queue up a couple.
Quickly. Don't mind Polk, but
not seeing really any correlations outside of Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
Just with our Chicago and Kansas City, as far as receivers are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it here. We're up in 4. As you can see, I only have 1% Komet, which speaks to I either hit the, I really haven't been hitting the elite elites. I also wrote my July fades. Haven't really hit much of the Laporta and Kelsey, which I was such a Laporta girl last year. That's so weird, but just the price just feels too high for me. So it's been, like I said, more that like Kincaid through Kittle that I've hit hard, and then the late round tight end. So I think it'd be good if I could get Komet here. Don't like Caleb.
Yeah,
So and it's nice to just be thinking as you're thinking through. Okay, there goes Komet. So,
we could take Freiermuth.
You could further build out Freiermuth, which, as you can see, underlines it for you. Or we could do best available receiver since we've only grabbed 5. So, Mooney, you have Mooney ranked much higher than this, though it's much higher than his ADP. So I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to go Freiermuth?
I take Freiermuth.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I love Mooney. I know you're high in him as well with 19%.
Yeah.
And if he comes back to us, I'd definitely take him. I think you're talking about almost a lock for the number 2 receiver and probably 3rd target. And we already have Bijan, so it's just like a team correlation.
Yeah.
But
if he falls back, then I think we should for team correlation.
And so no, I'm very high in Mooney. And I think he's a spike week guy. I think he's kind of can be a Gabe Davis and that type of player.
Yeah. Felix says, great pairing with Bijan Najee. Hope so. Thank you. I agree, Felix. I agree. Because I have half my Bijan teams now, over half have Najee. So hope so. Our guy Spreads in chat. Good to see you. And then Green Bean in chat. Good to see you. Just wait and take Fant later. Correlates like that. That's another one. I wrote Fant up, and I just keep getting psyched on him, or just doesn't fall right. And he's one I so want more of. So he doesn't. Seattle and Pittsburgh don't have the same bye week, do they?
No. It's 9 for Pittsburgh, 10 for Seattle.
Yeah, I will definitely be queuing up Fant later, Green Bean, because I need more of him for sure. So, okay. So coming around the 12-13 turn, when Dowdle, Burton, Wright will be up in 3 picks at 150. Mooney's still there. I say if he's there, we get him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mooney or Polk. I wouldn't necessarily take. Yeah. Okay. Good. Mooney's there.
You fine with Mooney?
Yep.
We don't have many week 12 receiver buys, do we?
No, it's just
we
the
don't.
running.
We just have Shakir.
Yeah, Shakir was the only one.
Okay, so we got Mooney for further team correlation with Bijan. I like that a lot. So, and I love that point about Fant later. And then we'll be up in 12, so we can go over and look at the board and see what Frank and Noel Fan and the rest of the room is doing. But actually, let me contextualize this for myself. So through 13 rounds, we're at 2, 4, 6, 1. So likely, I'm guessing this is going to be a 3, 5, 7, 3. We could be a shocker and do a with Mahomes and Caleb, because if you feel like our receiver room isn't strong enough, we could do a 2, 5, 8, 3. But it really depends how good we feel about our receiver room, I think.
I mean, I actually think our receiver room's very strong. Guys like Shakir and Mooney are now, spike week guys. But the first,
I was gonna say, that's what makes me nervous about it. So they're spike week guys.
But the first couple guys, I mean, Evans, DJ Moore, get to the third receiver is.
Right now. So it's Evans, DJ Moore, Ladd McConkey, Tyler Lockett. So I mean, Lockett's aging. I'm high on him still in an offense I know you really like a lot. Ladd, rookie, but I know we're both really high on him. It doesn't have like the 3 like really comfy, solid security, I guess is what I'd say. We still got 5 by 9. So
yeah.
But especially I'd say especially if we addressed receivers here and then build out then Fant leans into waiting a little bit on the last 2 tight ends, Fant somebody else ideally. And then, just looking to see what other potential quarterbacks may correlate. So
yeah. Now, if Roman Wilson's there, I probably wouldn't take him. I wouldn't do like a triple stack with the Steelers. So probably would need to find another. I was wondering if Adam Thielen would come back, but
why Thielen? Just because
he correlates with Tampa week 17.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he just went. So no fan just got Hawkinson way past ADP and Rodgers. I like that because he obviously started the draft with Garrett Wilson. So always like stacking Garrett Wilson with Rodgers, and we're back on the clock. Okay. So Roman Wilson's the top of our board. Then you've got Corley, Michael Wilson, Mims, Odell, not really any correlations I'm seeing. What do you think?
I mean,
16 seconds.
I mean, probably Mims is who I'd point to.
I mean, I don't have much Mims. Why do you like Mims there?
I think he's a spike week guy. Just different buy. Again, Roman Wilson just doesn't make sense. You'd be in this type of build.
Okay.
And
so wait, how many more rounds do we have? 3 or 4? So we have 4 more rounds. We have 2, 4, 7, 1. So let's discuss here. Do we really feel comfortable with these 7 receivers? And again, I think people forget, yes, you do need to start 3 versus 2, but we like trying to get the running back to hit the flex. Do we feel like we could get 3 really solid? Now we don't have any bye week issues, only 2 week 12 buys in Shakir and Mooney. That's really good when talking about if we feel like we need 8. We have Evans, Moore, McConkey, Ladd, Tyler Lockett, Shakir, Mooney, Mims. I feel like it's a little weak, but I can be convinced otherwise. I
mean,
I guess the other question is like, if we found who would be the third stack, is this a guy like, because it's not like we have any built out. We'd have to backstack Bryce Young. We certainly could do
Wilson.
We could certainly do Russell Wilson. You could do Bo Nix. Didn't we get Denver? Yeah, we just got Mims. So you could do Nix or Wilson late. If we were able to get, where's Fant going? I want to watch him. 188.
Yeah, he goes a lot of times. He seems
he goes around here.
Yeah.
So do you want to take Fant here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Roman Wilson just went much later than ADP, but we weren't looking at him anyways because we're going to take Fant here, which as you can see, I only have 4% and I want way more. So that addressed our so getting the tight end there, I guess the question is, we could also do like 3-5-8-2 if you feel comfortable with Fryermuth and Fant. I know that's a little weak, but if we wanted an eighth receiver.
I mean, it's a little weak, but I would feel better about that. I'd feel better about having a third quarterback, especially with Mahomes being unstacked.
Yeah, because it's not just like, who do I want the quarterback? It's like, the quarterback stack that could help you get through that gauntlet of, this isn't BBM. This is, I think I feel a little more comfortable with like unstacked quarterbacks in stuff like the Pitbull and that kind of stuff. Whereas, I mean, I still try to correlate in those, obviously, but in something like this, we're looking for like a stack to go off and to get through that 1 of 13, 1 of 16, which is so hard. So, So I don't mind like targeting. We have 2 options now. I mean, I guess 3 even with Geno. So did he go?
I think Geno went. Yeah, quarterbacks have gone much higher.
Yeah, they really are. Rodgers goes higher than he normally goes. He's like usually he had 160. Baker,
Baker, Geno,
Geno, Will Levis all went. Yeah, all went above ADP. Maybe we have a 3 quarterback room in here. I don't know. And then Green Bean mentioned you can take CH to pair with Mahomes. Yeah, we did mention that, and I am definitely going to cue him. What's that?
Russ just went.
Damn, that's early for him.
Way higher. Yeah.
He must have Pickens. He has Worthy. Does he have Pickens?
Nope.
We'll be able to look at his team and his correlations when we look at the summary. But wow, okay. So we're up at 187, 198, 211. So let me cue just to watch CEH.
Well, I think we want to take probably Bo Nix here because that's the last quarterback essentially.
I mean, I don't want to reach for Bo Nix. I think we could take Bo Nix at 198.
Okay, then take CEH here.
Well, that's kind of reach too. Or do we want to get like a Tolbert or a? I mean, I guess we could wait on.
That'd be a reach for those guys also. I mean, sure, I have them ranked higher, but according to ADP, it'd be a reach for any of them.
Okay, well, we could correlate with CEH here, or we could correlate with Bo Nix here.
I mean, do CEH.
Okay.
There's also just CEH just carries some of the best contingent value out there. Chiefs have added nothing in the way of running back. In fact, have lost McKinnon. So if anything happens to Pacheco, even if it's for 3 weeks, you could have like a top 5 RB.
Yeah, and I like that, especially because we started the 212s. Now we have a 9, 10, 6 bye. So likely billing out 3, 5, 8, 2. Most likely, if Nix comes back to us, we'll take him, and then we'll just look for like a late round flyer. Then we could just take best available on receiver or tight end. So I think that's the best way to handle it.
Tight end is fine. Also, I mean, Colby Parkinson, Jonnu now. It's definitely an interesting room.
Wait, Hardman went back to the Chiefs?
What's that?
Frank said you could take Hardman in the last round. Did he go back to the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if he's expected to be on the team this year. I mean, they traded him back last year. I don't know if he'll expect to make the roster because I don't think there's any guaranteed money left on his deal.
On Hardman?
Yeah, with that trade. So I'd have to look. I think probably somewhat dependent on what happens with Rashee Rice.
Gotcha. Okay, he said yes. Okay, so we'll be up in 8, and we will take Nix. That way it's kind of closer to his ADP for Nix if he's there. And then we'll take best available receiver tight end at 211 is our game plan.
Yeah, there's plenty of late receivers. I mean, some have already gone off the board, like Tolbert and stuff like that, but still plenty of late receivers that we can just find somebody to, because we're just looking for extra depth there. Yeah.
I do like that the bye weeks are, mostly different for us. I just felt like I would have liked a little bit more solid floor in our first 3 or 4, and we have a lot of spike week guys. So I know this is gonna be a spike week guy too this late, but it adds the further, okay. Oh, we're back on the clock. Nix is there. I'm going to take him. Okay. So we've got, so as you can see on the tool, just want to show this real quick. So Mahomes is in green, Caleb is in yellow, Nix is in red. So first, second, third quarterback. And then obviously we got DJ Moore with Caleb and Marvin Mims, as you can see, in red with Nix. But again, shows the bringbacks. You got the underlying Chicago bring back to Caleb. You got the underlying Pittsburgh guys bringing back to Mahomes. So yeah, the underline, the bringbacks and the parentheses to show the stacks really help a lot. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at what receivers we may like. I don't see, I mean, because you've got guys like Khalif Raymond, Elijah Moore that have some 15, 16. You do have Josh Reynolds. I don't know that we need to big out of, but I know that is one of your favorite later round guys that could be low owned. I don't know that hitting Denver hard makes me feel super warm and fuzzy, but I'm just trying to look at like the correlations based on the tool and how it shows you either the stack or the underlying bringback. Right. So those are the guys that kind of have correlation from what I can tell. I know we do like, Beckham and Slayton. So I'll throw those in too. And then let's just take a peek at tight end. You've got Jelani Woods with Denver correlation, Gesicki with Denver week 17 correlation. Those are the correlated ones if you want to look at. So, so thoughts, Steve? Do you like any of these receivers more, or do you want to do like of course, and then let me just obviously mention, you can see by my 20% Jawan Johnson, my 32% Jatavion Sanders, that I love those late round tight ends. So I queued those up as well. Jawan Johnson just went. So the tight ends left are Gesicki, Jatavion Sanders. The receivers queued up are Slayton, Chark, Reynolds, Elijah Moore, Khalif Raymond. I mean, I would say honestly, Josh Reynolds, or I don't have any Mike Gesicki yet, so it's not that crazy.
I mean, I would probably lean into a higher upside play like a Raymond or Slayton. To me.
Okay. So you like, so you feel like Khalif Raymond's going to get enough as in 3 wide receiver sets?
I mean, he's more a floor play. He's like a lesser Tyler Boyd who went way earlier in this draft. But
all right, we're on the clock. So Raymond, who does have week 16 correlation, or Slayton without correlation, but you and I both like him, as you can see by my 17%.
I say go Raymond. There's some playoff correlation and just a much better offense. I mean, Slayton probably has a better role,
right?
But
it's fun getting these guys like a Raymond that aren't going to be 100% owned.
Absolutely.
We talked about that with Josh Reynolds. Again, check out our Time Box tournament shows. We talked about that in Time Box, where you can really get some leverage on the Time Box tournaments. But even in this, a guy like Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds, they are not going to be anywhere close to 100% owned. So that's fun to take shots like that. So, okay. So finishing up the draft, we will then go and look at our draft in whole, and then Frank and no fans. So almost just one more pick. This has been fun. Thank you for joining us. Let me go refresh. There it is. Okay. Do you like my hyper fragile with Darnold label there? I got weird in a BBM.
That would be.
Okay, yeah, this is us. We'll do ours first. And what's so nice about being able to review these teams is we can now review them, and I don't need to, in my brain, quickly look for the stacks and bring back. So we ended up with the 3-5-8-2 from the 6th spot, obviously anchored by Bijan. It is Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Bijan Robinson, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Jerome Ford, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, correlation at running back position, Mike Evans, DJ Moore stacked with Caleb, Ladd McConkey, Tyler Lockett is a bring back to Chicago stack, Caleb Williams, Darnell Mooney, Marvin Mims is a stack with Bo Nix, Khalif Raymond, bring back week 16, and then just 2 tight ends, a little risky there, but kind of hoping that both these tight ends can really outperform their ADP, and obviously different tight bye weeks. Both are bringbacks. Pat Freiermuth, week 17, bring back to Kansas City, and Noah Fant, week 17, bring back to Chicago. So yeah, tight end room's a little receivers are a little more spike week guys. Like I said, I feel like a little more comfortable when I get like, 3 or 4 guys that I feel really solid about. And I feel like, just the top 2, the other ones. But I love McConkey. So those are my thoughts. What do you think, Steve? And then we'll look at the other guys.
Yeah. So, I think it was, with 3 quarterbacks, I think that was still the way to go, even in this build. And, I think the running backs very strong, top 2 guys, even with the same bye, but then 2 other guys we feel very confident in Harris and Ford. And then the little correlation we got with Mahomes and CH, which, like I said, has some of the best contingent value out there. You're getting that guy, you're getting him so late. And if anything happens to Pacheco, you're getting a potentially top 5, if not top 10 running back. Receivers, you can say they're thin, but there's just so much upside here.
Yeah.
Particularly if you think the Bears offense is going to be better. Justin Herbert's healthy all year. And I mean, if McConkey is Keenan Allen light, this is just amazing. Tyler Lockett, he just outperforms ADP every single year. This team should be throwing the ball more. Khalil Shakir, that receiver room is just wide open. Darnell Mooney goes from the Bears' terrible offense to, the Falcons and, Kirk Cousins and Zach Robinson. So, just a lot to like all around there. And, taking some shots with Mims. And Raymond I view as just a kind of floor play.
Mm-hmm.
It helps with some of these, like, spike week guys.
Yeah.
There's going to be weeks where Mims and Shakir and guys like that get 5 points or less. Well, maybe Raymond gets 8 points, Yeah.
And then you're fine with our tight ends.
I mean, I don't think we're going to be near the top in the tight end room, but I think we can be solid with 2 good guys.
Yeah.
And I think, Freiermuth, it's set up. He's been so efficient when he's been healthy and with really bad quarterback play in his career. Now, if that play is increased, it could be very, very strong. And Noah Fant went from being part of a 3 tight end room, with Disley and Parkinson. Now they're gone. It's just him, really just him. So,
And I needed more exposure to him too. As you could see, I only had 4%. So I've been talking about wanting to get more. So let's look at Noel Finn and King Kings. Frank, they both said thanks and good luck. So let's look at their teams really quick and then we will get on out of here. So Frank was right after us at the 7 spot and he goes 2-6-8-2. And I believe he was anchored by Amon-Ra, who you love because you love that week 17 correlation. You love Amon-Ra too. And he did it with Goff, which I love. So he got Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Trey Benson, Chuba Hubbard, Bucky Irving, Donta Foreman, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, excellent week 17 correlation right from the jump. Calvin Ridley, Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Legette, Jalen Polk, Demarcus Robinson, Greg Dortch, Trey McBride, and Jake Ferguson. I mean, that's a very strong tight end room. He's got a nice Arizona stack with Kyler and, I know he got one of the receivers, Dortch and McBride. And then, of course, he's got the stack of Goff and Amon-Ra brought back with Deebo Samuel. So, and then as you can see, he's got other like week 17 correlations built in with like Demarcus Robinson.
Kyron Williams
Kyron Williams at the running back position. And then he's got Trey Benson at the running back position too. And then even some like week 17, you can even see like week 16 correlation, like Chuba Hubbard, Arizona. At week 16, I value that pretty damn high this year because if you can get through to week 17, you make your all your money back. And obviously you're looking for a very profitable season, making the BBM finals. So like that as well. And I really like his team overall. I think it's a really strong team. And, when you have a nice, I think, floor and ceiling combo, not that Goff can't have ceiling games, but I like that combo of quarterbacks when you're doing two.
And I think that's the way to do 2 quarterbacks is guys like that, like Kyler with all the upside in the world and Jared Goff, who's, pretty Mr. Reliable, a lot of good number of 20+ point games, maybe has 1 or 2 ultimate ceiling point games in his bag for next year. But even when he's not getting 20, he'll have a lot of 17, 18, 19-point games. So at least you're not getting buried. And of course, Kyler is your guy doing it most of the time. And same with tight end. A lot of times guys will take, a top tier tight end like a McBride, a Kelsey, Laporta, et cetera, and then just totally wait on it for their second tight end. But here he takes McBride, but then
he got Ferguson out for ADP too.
He should always have, pretty good quarterback numbers, pretty strong tight end numbers.
Yeah.
So then he went with volume to round out the
6 and 8
receivers and running backs. And he's got top guys at the top of those positions.
Right.
Top 2 running backs, top 3 receivers. Love both of them,
Oh, I love his top 3 receivers with ASB, Debo, and Calvin Ridley. So no, I like your team a lot, Frank. Let's check out Nolfan, and then we can get out of here. From the 11 position, he has a 2-5-8-3. So he's got Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, and I believe both are stacked. He's got James Cook, James Conner, Devin Singletary, Ezekiel Elliott, Braylon Allen, and then he's got Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, Jameson Williams, Jahan Dotson, Malachi Corley, Odell Beckham, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, and Tyler Conklin. So he got one of my favorite type of stacks where you stack, as you can see, the yellow parentheses, his second quarterback, Rodgers, Braylon Allen, Garrett Wilson, the top target, and then Tyler Conklin, who, as you saw earlier, I'm very highly exposed to. And then he stacked Purdy with Kittle, with a bring back of Jameson Williams, of course. Mm-hmm. And then he's got some other correlations in there. James Cook, he's got a week 17 correlation too. He's got, let's see, I know I saw one down here. Obviously the Jameson Williams.
Christian Kirk is earlier in the playoffs, but
Christian Kirk is week 15 with the Jets. And that's what's nice. You can see the different weeks. Odell Beckham is week 16, Dolphins 49ers. I think it's well correlated. Like his build makes a ton of sense. I like both stacks, and really building out the 2 stacks and bringbacks and everything. So no, I like it. I like this team a lot too. I think we're in a tough room with these 2, and I'd have to look deeper at the rest of them. But I like both of these guys' drafts a lot. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Final thoughts, Steve, before we get out of here.
No, it's definitely bit of a different build, but I think it, went well. And, I never am going to be unhappy with the Bijan start. That's for sure. So I think you and I are both in agreement. He's the guy most likely to be RB1, not named Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly. Of course, before we get out of here, check out our articles on fanspeak.com, all free. Be sure to like this episode and subscribe if you haven't already, the Fanspeak Network. And of course, as you saw us talking about Best Ball Overlay, go to bestballoverlay.com. If you haven't already, check them out and use code Fanspeak for 33% off or $10 off a month. So this has been fun. Again, other little programming notes. Check out Justin and Andrew tomorrow using Best Ball Overlay, another BBM draft at 9:30 p.m. Thursday. And then Friday, I'll be on with Friends of Best Ball, 8:30 p.m. with Pat, talking about his tool Best Ball Overlay and, of course, using it. So this has been fun, Steve. Now we got to go rip some drafts of these other new ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.